Hello everyone, I hope you're all doing well and enjoying your time. It's Neda Hadi Nejad here, and I'm going to read you a fantastic story which my mother wrote and my friend translated to English. The name of the book is A Journey Beyond the World by Nasrin Karbalaee and translated by Aliyeh Javadi. This book was published in March 2017 by نوأندیشان مهراب publication in Iran and was introduced to the world in Tehran International Book Fair in 2017. This volume is the first of four of A Journey Beyond the World, and I'm going to start reading it for you today. So make sure that you subscribe to the channel and hit the bell to enjoy the rest of the story. Chapter 1. Elenda is an intelligent, athletic, faithful, committed, and of course scientific girl. She has passed elementary school, high school, and university courses earlier than usual. Since she was a child, she loved to be an astronaut, and for this reason, she paid more attention to health and education and taking specialized courses related to astronautics. Her mother and father are among the top professors on the International Space Station. Elenda, like the rest of the students, used the information the most. She was selected from 54,100 individual travel volunteers due to her high scores. Now on the International Space Station, after performing special ceremonies such as wearing special clothes, the performance of the national anthem, and the transfer to the spacecraft, the rocket is ready for move to space launch. The only companion in this trip with Elenda is a robot named Rayaka, which is divided into two parts. Raya, which is the first letter of Rayane, and Ka, that is the first letter for computer. Rayaka is a full-fledged of generations after Asimo, now and Atlas robots. Rayaka can easily speak, process information, walk, run, jump, and it is also equipped with voice, face, and emotion recognition. This robot also has language processing system and camera. Rayaka can send various messages to the Earth and also has a considerable amount of information stored in his internal memory that can tell Elenda in time. The rocket that accompanies the spacecraft to the atmosphere is very professional. Its name is SLS, which stands for Space Launch System, so that after separating from the spacecraft, it returns to Earth and lands at the space station. But the spaceship, called the White Sea Morgue, is built for individual astronauts to travel. Elenda is the first solo passenger in this type of spacecrafts. Although scientists have the space base are still studying and researching to build other solo spacecrafts with newer equipment. White sea morgue fuel is made with a complex and confidential formula that can take the Elenda and Rayaka into space with other necessary equipment for years. The person in charge of the space base issues the flight permit of the rocket, and the journey begins by counting down the numbers from 9 to 0. Once the rocket is turned on, after a few minutes, the White Sea Morgue passes the Earth's atmosphere. Elenda sees the Earth as a ball that gets farther and farther away. The purpose of this trip is not to get to know the solar system. Elenda's mission is to go far, beyond the world. Elenda turned the White Sea Morgue button to the direct program to automatically move, so she could see her surroundings better. After seeing space debris and meteors from some time, she ate special food and closed her eyes because she could no longer bear to wake up. Rayaka is careful about everything and calls Elenda if something goes wrong. Chapter 2. A sound like rain hitting the glass of white Seymour was heard and woke her up. Elenda says, "Can you hear the voice, Rayaka? Do you know where it comes from?" Elenda looked around for the voice, saw nothing, sat down in the commander's chair, and said with surprise, "Oh my God, what kind of creature is this that has stuck itself to the glass of white Seymour? He has a human-like face and wears a one-piece dress from head to tunic and socks. His dress is green with small and shiny sequins as if he is swimming in water. He has a very flexible body." He smiled and shook his hand to Elenda from behind Seymour's glass. She shook her hand, smiled too. Elenda says, "Where are you, Rayaka? What's he saying?" Rayaka is staring at his uninvited guest. He does not feel anything. He is just analyzing. Rayaka called out after a few minutes and said, "Commander, he is from the Sabzpushan Negini planet." Elenda says, "The Sabzpushan Negini planet? I have not heard it. Where is the space address of this planet?" Rayaka says, "Madam, he does not have such a name. I gave him that name." Elenda says, "Well, keep going." Rayaka says, "Yes, madam. We are almost in the middle of one of the arms of the Milky Way. Of course, this system has never been considered because of its small size and distance from the solar system." Elenda says, "So what does he say?" Rayaka says, "He wants to enter the White Seymour. He says it is cold outside." Elenda says, "What is he doing here?" Rayaka says, "He says if he enters." Elenda says, "What should I do, Rayaka? Should I open the emergency door? I do not know. What should I do?" Rayaka says, "Open it, madam. He doesn't have a gun." Elenda says, "What if he's hiding it under his clothes?" Rayaka says, "He is not dressed at all. This is why he is cold." Elenda says, "What?" Rayaka says, "Madam, should I press the button?" Elenda says, "Go on," and the green creature with shiny scales came in and sat on one of the chairs. Rayaka brought him a blanket and tucked him in. Once he sat down, he fell asleep like a very tired person and leaned his head against the back of the chair. Then he woke up after a while. Elenda says, "Rayaka, ask who he is. Where was he going? What happened to him?" Rayaka says, "I asked." "He has come from the Green Star." Elenda says, "You were not that much wrong about the place that he has come from, but how did you talk? I did not hear a sound." Rayaka says, "He cannot speak. He speaks with gestures." Elenda says, "Do you understand?" Rayaka says, "Yes, something like braille, dot, line. He speaks with his eyelids and opening and closing them, and if he pauses for a while, it speaks as a line, and otherwise it's a dot." Elenda says, "Excellent. Tell me what he says." Rayaka says he was expelled from his own planet." Elenda asks, "Why?" Rayaka says his dream was to see the other planets, but they did not cooperate with him. Elenda says, "What does it mean that they did not cooperate?" Rayaka says, "They think that only their own planet in the world can be inhabited by them, and they consider his travel as a useless expense. They say you have to live here until your life is over and burn to ashes. That's it. Elenda says, Rayaka, ask who they are. And Rayaka says, the inhabitants of the sapient world of the green planet universe. Elenda asks, what? The sapient world, but they do not allow traveling? Elenda says, Rayaka, can he live here? Rayaka says, he says I practiced a lot to live with anesthesia. Oxygenated air is poisonous to me here too. You see, sometimes I breathe. Elenda says, ask how he has endured in space. Rayaka says, he says that the oxygen-free air and other gases in space and in some places gases that you do not know are better for me. Elenda says, well, tell him, go out and get some fresh air, then come back. Rayaka says he agrees on the condition that we press the button again to enter. He is afraid to travel alone. Elenda says, say there is no problem, so you can save your breathing air and then enter whenever you want. I have another question. Ask what he can do. Rayaka says, he says a lot of things. He has to be in situation. He says he knows a lot of techniques and he can help us when we need him. He is saying that he will never forget your kindness. Elenda says, Rayaka, it's very good that we found a companion. We are not alone anymore. Shortly afterwards, a huge spacecraft passed by the White Seymour. Okay, I guess that's enough for today. I'm going to continue reading this wonderful book the next week. Bye-bye.